Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for August 2nd, 2024. Thank you for joining me here. Please be sure to subscribe. We're talking about the tropical update right now. Potential tropical cyclone 4 in the Caribbean basin is making the way across eastern Cuba right now en route to a rendezvous with the eastern Gulf of Mexico. As you can see, it's very disorganized, but there is strong convection on the southern and northern ends of the storm. This is expected to become a little bit better organized, but right now it's eastern loaded. Most of the convection is eastern and southern loaded as well. So, moving on in time, potential tropical cyclone 4 should pass through Cuba, through Havana, Cuba as a depression, and then it continues to make its way north into the Florida Straits, close to the Key West by 2 p.m. on Saturday. It's at this point, as it emerges into the Gulf of Mexico and the Florida Straits, that it should begin strengthening into a tropical storm. Right now, intensity indications are that this is going to be a tropical storm, a mid-grade tropical storm, possibly a 50 or 60 mile an hour tropical storm coming into the Florida Big Bend area, just north of Spring Hill, Florida, Cedar Key. Typically where those storms come in with the shallow area of the Gulf of Mexico, that shallow shelf, continental shelf there. This could lead to some minor flooding there as well. Now, tropical storm watches are already extended from Cedar Key, Florida, all the way down through the mouth of the Tampa Bay, of course, and then all the way down to Bradenton, Sarasota area. And then tropical storm warnings are definitely extended from Bradenton Beach, Southwood, Anna Maria Island, Captiva, Sanibel, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples, Marco Island. Those areas, tropical storm warnings continue. And then, of course, we have tropical storm watches for the Keys, all of the Keys, mid, lower, and upper Keys, and then dry Tortugas over here. So, the potential tropical cyclone 4 is expected to become a tropical storm by Sunday, sometime early Sunday morning. Now, it's unclear with this forecast here if rapid intensification is a possibility. Obviously, the temperatures are warm here, 88, 89 degrees in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. That's not a problem, and there's low wind shear. So it does have that in its favor for rapid intensification. Now, what it does not have in its favor for rapid intensification is the short time frame it has that it has to develop here, because its movement is west-northwest at 16 miles an hour is moving at a very fast clip, similar to what Beryl was doing. But unlike Beryl, this system is moving into an area of low wind shear, no wind shear, and is moving to an area with warm sea surface temperature. So it's possible that this could become a Category 1 hurricane as it transits the eastern Gulf of Mexico. I would not be surprised, because everything is there. But what's in our favor for it quickly making landfall is that this thing is moving very, very fast. It's going to curve to the northeast around that beautiful high pressure, the Bermuda High. And that's going to be the steering currents. Basically, it's a squeeze play between two high pressures, one over here on eastern on the high plains, and one over toward Bermuda. And it's going to go in between really quickly here and squeeze play and be out on the eastern coast. But that does also limit the chances of flooding rains, like I said. But you're still going to get a lot of rain beforehand, because this system is eastern and southeastern loaded of rain. All this is going to come up into Florida, into the Bay, and so you're going to be looking at rainfall, of course. Maybe 3 to 4 inches, and maybe 5 inches in some locally heavy areas. Okay, but that's going to be the result. This is going to be a rainmaker basically here through Wednesday morning, according to the National Hurricane Center. So isolated river flooding will also be possible. So when looking at the track here, you want to be careful if you're on the Hillsborough River here, the Cheektowaga River down south here on the banks here. Of course, some of these rivers up here may be dangerous to Santa Fe River, through Gainesville, I-75. Some of those rivers may be elevated, so you want to be careful there. Cedar Key, of course, you in that flood-prone area, you may get a little bit of surge, a little bit of normal rise, but with tropical storm, you're looking at maybe 1 to 3 foot above normal tide rise, possibly. So you want to look at that carefully going into Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon as the system approaches that bay, if the track holds true and everything holds, forecast to be here. Now, so you want to be making preparations as early as Saturday night. If you're in those areas north of Cape Coral, Tampa Bay area, Cedar Key, Hernando County, all those counties, Spring Hill, all those counties that are prone, Tarpon Springs, those counties that are maybe prone to flooding on the coast, you want to start making those preparations for possible, high tide flooding, a little bit minor flooding, and maybe some light winds or strong winds. But this is going to come into tropical storm. Debbie is the next name, and so probably will get its name Debbie sometime between Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning is what the look here. Look at Atlantic wide here. We have nothing else going on. We have another little vigorous wave coming out, but it's struggling here with it's struggling here with dry air and Saharan dust layer out here. So this wave here, we have to keep a close eye on. Some casual showers passing through Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the British Virgin Islands, but nothing crazy. And we also have some showers out here in the Pacific. Now these here have a stronger chance of development here, some waves out here. And we also have Hurricane Carletta. Hurricane Carletta is continuing on a westward track. It's not a threat to land, but it did make hurricane status here. And I believe this is the second hurricane, our first hurricane that we have out there, Carlotta here. As winds are at 85 miles an hour, pressure is at 985 millibars here, and it will continue. I'll show you the fish track here. It will continue to be a hurricane for a couple more days, and then by Monday it will go to tropical storm, and then by next week Wednesday it's disintegrated to a low remnant low or depression. So the good news is with Carlotta is that it's a category 1 hurricane, but it's moving west at 14 miles an hour. Just going to be interest for mariner interest way out here in the central Pacific or eastern Pacific, excuse me. And so no threat to land, and it's not even a threat to Hawaii, but it will continue out there and probably bring some elevated surf out there up to Hawaii if it continues out that way. So once again, I just want to give you potential cyclone tropical 4 here is going to become Debbie sometime Saturday night into Sunday morning. Tropical storm Debbie. The intensity forecast is still uncertain, but I believe the maximum the storm can get to before it makes landfall, because of the speed right now, is probably a category 1 hurricane, 75 mile an hour, maybe 80 mile an hour hurricane before it comes into the Big Bend of Florida there. So that's what we have right now. As of right now, it's still too soon to tell the intensity, but that's what we have right now. And it's moving west-northwest at 16 miles an hour. That will continue, and we expect the forward motion to no slow down, not much lower, I should say, than 10 miles an hour as it approaches in this eastern Gulf, this warm eastern Gulf. So the potential for rapid intensification for this storm is higher, I would say. Let me make that note. The potential for rapid intensification for this storm is a little bit higher than what it was with Beryl, because Beryl had a lot of wind shear in the Gulf. That's not the case here. We have warm water. We have all that going for us. What we don't have going for it is that the structure of the storm, the internal structure of the storm, is what people are wondering, is what structure, once it emerges out of Cuba, out of the Florida Straits, and past Key West, what kind of structure would a storm have, And if the structure can't get itself together by, let's say, 2 a.m. Sunday morning or early Sunday morning, then that's pretty much it. That's all time it's going to have to develop. It will stay a tropical storm, a strong tropical storm. It winds right around 70. It may make minimal hurricane and make a landfall right in somewhere between the Cedar Key or somewhere up in the Big Bend here, like the other storm did, and just keep on crossing through. So that's what we have going on. We'll bring another update to you later on this weekend once we know more data. Thank you for listening. This is the Weather Guru signing off. I'll see you on the next episode.